So you're on TikTok, right?
I am on TikTok.
Who is this Matt Rife guy, and why is everyone like? Why is he so popular?
Man, I don't know. I've seen he's a crowd work comedian,
Okay.
so he's really good at like pointing people out in the audience, like, "What about you?" And then he riffs with them and gets it going. His actual like stand up comedy, like, I was at the mall last week, not that great. Um, but he's also 26, and have you seen him?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
The women folk adore him. Apparently,
I've
that's what women.
I've gathered that. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, he's a really nice, like he's actually a genuinely nice guy.
Oh well, that's good.
Um,
Because he looks
and
like
I think
a dude bro.
yeah, right, but I don't think he is. And I think I could be wrong. I think he's one of those like I like older women types, and that helps with the appeal too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he has a girlfriend. I don't know for sure. I've seen enough of the TikToks about him. Um, but he was just in Toledo like a month ago. And some friends of ours, we were talking about going to see him, and then we saw his actual stand up and not the TikTok clips. It's like, I don't know. And then like a week later, he's like, I'm going on a stadium tour, and he's like the biggest comic. So like that was like, oh,
Yeah.
you could have seen Green Day at the Blind Pig 3 weeks before Dookie came out, and you were like, no, I'm not going to. He's not that great.
What is a basket case anyway?
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, there.
What? Why do you ask? How did you find out about
like,
me?
because everyone's talking about him now. Like,
Is it your wife?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, because she's not on TikTok either. She probably knows less about him than I do.
Fair enough.
So, like, because like after he announced the tour, and then everyone's like, oh, I gotta get tickets. It was like Taylor Swift 2.0, pretty much. And I'm like, what the? And so because everyone was talking about it, inevitably a couple of his videos showed up in my Facebook feed. And I watched it, and I'm like, well, he's funny, but he's not like 170 straight shows sold out funny.
Yeah. That's it. I think it's one of those things. If you wanted to see someone stand on stage and riff with an audience, he's really good at it.
Yeah. But, all right. Well, this isn't Kris and Matt's stand-up comedy pod, although some weeks it could be. It's Kris and Matt's Wrestling Pod 2.0. Once again, recording on a Thursday night for full transparency, because I'm about to do this.
Oh, all I have is my Fago firework drink, which is giving me like incredible like burping.
Heartburn?
Oh. No, not heartburn. This is like Sprite to me. I drink a little bit of it, and I'm just like immediately filled with gas.
Sweet.
Going with the old Bud Light, huh? The second most popular beer in America now, right?
That's right. I'm not going to get into it.
I was wondering if you'd take the bait.
Nope.
I'll finish it. Second to a Mexican beer that's owned by the same company as the people that are being protested against from Bud Light. So, good work, America.
Have you seen that? We're just off the rails already. Have you seen that video right when all that stuff first went down of the dude in a Walmart like destroying cases of Busch Light?
Yeah. Didn't even have the right one, but then good for him.
Just demolishing, pulling dirty 30s off the shelf and just smashing them.
To be fair, is there really a better way to use Busch Light?
No, that's true. He was actually.
I mean, if you were trying to clean the floors of a Walmart,
he was
Busch Light's pretty good.
He was doing everyone in that area a service, actually.
Yeah, probably. And then he inevitably got arrested, and that did the community a service as well.
Exactly.
So it's a win for everybody.
Everybody wins. Yeah, we're back after a week off. Last week we scheduling things came up last minute, and we were like, let's take a week. So we did. So because we weren't on, I didn't get to shill myself. So I'll do that now. First of all, if you haven't yet, go check out my I did like a 25-minute video review of the new Foo Fighters album. And so please go check that out. It's the first new album review I've done in a very long time. Probably over a year. And yeah, so check that out. I really like I think it's their best one since Sonic Highways. So I think it's pretty good. And then also, if you missed it, I was lucky enough to be asked to be back on the Late Night Grin on Sunday evening for a King of the Ring 93 watch along. And that was just tons of fun. That should be up on their YouTube now. It was tons of fun. So thanks to Joe Hulbert and Robert O'Neill and Manny the Hooper, who is never ceases to amuse us with getting people's names wrong and stuff. I nearly did a spit take on screen because of something he said. I believe it was when he called the winged eagle belt the wingtip belt.
I mean, nothing screams class like some wingtips. So.
Exactly. And Joe was just like incredulous. He couldn't believe.
Real quick, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that was the first time I've watched that show in its entirety.
I know I've watched it start to finish before, but I don't remember the last. I absolutely love Bret. Like I love Bret Hart's entire night there. The match with Perfect is, it's almost perfect. But to your point about the video, real quick, it is on their YouTube because I was able to find it yesterday to start watching part of it. But I had to go through their website, latenightgrid.com, to find it. When I went through just their YouTube page, it did not show up in the most recent videos.
Gotcha.
So it was a little hard to find for someone who maybe doesn't know how their platform is laid out. But it's definitely up there because I saw about 10 minutes of it.
If you want to do the watch along thing, and like for me, anytime I do that, like it's hard for me to like have a video on my like computer screen and then watch. So the audio is also available. Just look for Late Night Grin on whatever podcast platform, and the audio will be up. So you can do that way, or you can just listen to us because it's fun conversation.
No one needs to really watch Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan. Let's be honest.
You know what though?
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Especially
no, it is. It's just not bad for a Hogan match.
Well,
that's what it is.
Well, yeah, fair.
It's like Goldberg and DDP is actually a really good match. No, folks, it's not. It's a terrible match.
I like
it's just good for a Goldberg match. It's passable. Of course you do.
Well, screw it. So, speaking of good matches, let's talk about the Open to Dynamite last night. We saw Adam Cole face MJF in a world title eliminator match, and this was a roller coaster of emotions for me because I'm like, well, there's no way Adam Cole's gonna win. Like, they're not gonna have him beat MJF. And then they got to the point where they did the belt spot, and I'm like, oh my god, they're actually gonna have Adam Cole beat MJF. And then MJF kicked out, and then MJF got the ring. I'm like, no, okay, he's gonna beat Cole. Like, after all that, now he's gonna beat. And I got angry, and then it went to a draw. And at first, I'm like, what a bunch of bullshit. But then I was like, no, actually, that's awesome.
It's actually the perfect way to put an end if they want to, or to keep it going.
It was, dare I say, Adam Cole's best match since he came to AEW. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of them because he was out for 9 months, but I think it definitely is his best one. It even was a reminder to me, someone who's an uber Adam Cole fan, like of what he can do when he's on. And yeah, it's just really great. I can't wait to see him run it back. Whether that be at All In or All Out, whichever one. I'm assuming it will be one of those though. Yeah, just incredible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it of the MJF matches, besides the Danielson one, to me, it's been the most intriguing match he's had. And you know what? More than the Danielson match, because again, it was a situation where going in, you knew you had a pretty good feeling that MJF was going to win. Um, and as you and I have talked, Iron Man matches aren't our thing because.
Yeah.
But on paper, I was looking forward to that match just to see, is Adam Cole back? Is he back in terms of just like he's on TV, or like you were saying, is Bebe the guy that could carry a company if they gave it to him? So I didn't see the match start to finish. I saw a little a put together like 5-6 minute highlight reel. And it looked like you were describing. It looked like it was just a roller coaster of emotion.
It was, and
the finish. The only thing I'll say about the finish is they've kind of gotten to the point where these time limit draws and world title or like world title eliminator matches are starting to get a little like, okay, how many times are we going to do this? But I like what they did here.
But they haven't done it that much. Like this is the last actual.
Well, it wasn't the world title with Omega and Bryan. You're right.
Right. And the only other time limit draw that they've done other than that was, well, in recent, I mean, there was the one with Pac and Moxley way in the early days of Dynamite. But the only other one they done was the Danielson Hangman one. So it's not like something they use a lot.
That's 3 within an 18-month period, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's you. My point is, you put these big matches together, you do it once, it's like, whoa, that was like, especially Omega and Bryan. Like, man, I'd really like to see them at an hour time limit now. Mm-hmm. Then they did it with Bryan and Hangman, and now you're running it back less than a year, maybe less than a year, maybe a little bit more than a year later. I think it's been more than a year since they've done it. But it just, when I saw it, I was like, man, that's another like big time Dynamite match that goes to a time limit draw. But I don't hate that they did it here. I just hope it's not something that happens again for a while.
Right. I mean, 3 in, let's see here. So that Hangman or the Omega one was in September. So like 3 in 21 months is considering all the other finishes they abused to death. Like, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'll take it. Yeah. So that was awesome. There were like 3. Dynamite actually was really good last night. But it was kind of bookended by 2 awesome things, and in the middle there was something too. I texted you in the middle. I'm like, God bless Chris Jericho, and you're like, why? I'm like, going out there and talking about how he's not interested in having a match with Sting, knowing full well that he was doing last night on Dynamite probably. And
yeah,
we're getting the tag match here, if not next week, here pretty soon, of him and Jericho and Sammy versus Darby and Sting. Darby's kind of trying to get Sammy to leave the Jericho Appreciation Society. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a Jericho. I think I think Sting and Darby are going to win the match. Jericho's going to blame Sammy. There's your out, and then that's where Jericho goes, I want another match, and that's how we're going to get Sting and Jericho one-on-one down the road eventually.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Sting hasn't been keen on singles matches when he's talked about it, but
I think him and Jericho, it's.
And I don't know if I want to see that one as a singles match.
if you do it as an 8 or 10, if you do it almost in the same vein of how they did Triple H and Sting before before they just for whatever reason had fucking Triple H win. Well, we know why they had Triple H win. But if you do it like that, where it's a little bit of a back and forth, but then it just gets kind of the gaga, I think it could be really well done. And I look, the opportunity of getting Sting and Jericho in the ring one-on-one, I just don't think you pass it up. They're literally the only two legends still going that I think that haven't met up at some point.
True. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So yeah,
of course I'm right.
Of course you are. So yeah, that was fun. The little stare down with the bats, plural.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And then we closed the night. Great trios match. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the lower third on the hung bucks?
I did on the hung bucks. The anatomically misleading. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, because they had them as just Hangman Page and the Young Bucks, and the lower third said formerly known by a sexually suggestive and anatomically misleading team name.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
And then the cowboy hats. The cowboy hats were just, they came out and I started cackling.
Yeah, those. I mean, that's the Young Bucks that I miss.
Yeah.
You know, the goofier the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see that group working together again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice to see these three together again. And it looks like they just, looks like they haven't missed a beat. I mean, the move where I think it was Yuta that the Bucks were holding on the apron, and Hangman did his running shooting star off the apron.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. They just went nuts. And then the end of the show was peak Nitro, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Just a crazy, melee brawl. Everyone and their mother coming out. Takeshita comes out. Then Kenny makes his return. Then out of nowhere, Ospreay shows up. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. All that was missing was Tony yelling at the end. The tape machines are rolling. We're out of time. We gotta go. That's the only thing
they got to do that at some point. They got to do that at some point, right?
They've done all his other bits.
Yeah. So I thought it was good. When I woke up this morning, people were like, "Oh my God, the ending to Dynamite was incredible." I don't hate to.
Oh, Eddie Kingston. I forgot about Eddie Kingston coming out.
Yeah, Eddie. Well, so I know I nitpick a lot of stuff about them, but cutting back to the ring too soon and clearly showing Moxley talking to the Young Bucks, Kenny clearly looking to see, okay, where's Ospreay? Where's Ospreay? Where's Ospreay? Before he even showed up on screen, well, someone else is coming out because Kenny's looking for him.
Yeah.
It's so aggravating when they do I don't understand wrestling companies, and I'm seeing it on indie, when I would see indie clips too, where they can't just stay on one camera. They're we gotta cut to we gotta move. Just show me the one thing and let me see it. But
that was the thing watching King of the Ring the other night. It was just it used to be better.
Right. And then okay, you know what? Eddie Kingston coming in the ring and getting in the Young Bucks faces and just being whoa. Eddie Kingston doesn't like the Young Bucks either, right? And why would the Young Bucks be Eddie told us to back off. We're not going to attack Jon Moxley in this moment? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
The whole thing of Eddie coming out there was just if you wanted to set him and Moxley face to face, cool. I get that. But the Bucks needed to be on the outside the whole time. They're in a blood feud. They're not going to be Eddie Kingston, our good friend that is the voice of reason in our relationship, is going to tell us back off of John for a minute. those four men went to war a year and a half ago at a pay-per-view, maybe a little over a year ago. Like, I just didn't. It didn't make sense.
2 years ago.
Well, I couldn't remember if it was like Double or Nothing or if it was.
It was Double or Nothing 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
It was
where they came out with the Dior Jordans and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, time is flying by.
Yeah, they had the orange and blue gear.
Right. And Moxley kicked the door open and went nuts walking through the stadium. And
yeah, because that was the first show at like full capacity at Daily Space. Yeah, I mean, if you want to nitpick it, you can do so. I was just, I mean, they're not going to have Eddie be the fifth man for the Elite, are they? That doesn't make any sense.
It'd be really lame. It'd be a major letdown.
I'm hoping they just set up, this maybe leads to another. Although I got to be honest, I don't want to see Eddie and Moxley fight again.
I don't want to see Eddie a part of that at all. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can say, well, he's got a blood war with Claudio that'll never end.
Yeah, sure.
That's great. But like, him and Moxley are supposed to be tight. And if you do the whole, well, Moxley turned his back on me, at what point are we as fans supposed to be like, well, how much of a piece of shit is Eddie? Because everyone that's his best friend for life at some point wants nothing to do with it. Sounds like someone we're going to talk about here in a minute. Like, it just doesn't make sense from that standpoint. And why would the Elite in any situation work with Eddie Kingston of all people?
Right.
It's
still, to me, it's still got to be Okada. I think that's the leader in the clubhouse still, but we'll see.
I think it's Bushi.
Well, we'll see. We could be either one of them. Speaking of, I guess we could talk. That was one of the things I was going to talk about last week, but we didn't, because we didn't do a show. At that time we had 2 matches announced for Forbidden Door. What? Oh,
I can't. Like, the more we're talking about what we didn't talk about last week, I'm like, damn it! I just had to go buy that car last week.
Well, yeah. So we're getting Bryan Danielson versus Okada. Yes. And then
excuse me, I need a pillow for my lap here.
Yeah. And then the Omega Ospreay rematch. So
yeah.
And okay. I sat here on this podcast in lead up to Revolution, banging my fist against the table here about how none of the stories leading into Revolution were compelling, blah, 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 blah. And I've seen a lot of people trying to make that same, like, this is a special pay-per-view. This isn't a typical pay-per-view.
Wait, are there people complaining about the build to Bryan Danielson and Okada? Wow.
What's the story? This is a pay-per-view. You don't need stories. Here's
the story. The best wrestler in North America in the last 20 years is facing the best wrestler in Japan, maybe ever. Shut the F up and enjoy the match. Yeah. Just enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. This show is one where I am not going to harp on the story leading into it, because this is a special event. This is where dream matches happen out of nowhere because they're able to happen out of nowhere at this show. That's the whole point of the show. Like, so yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Kenny and Ospreay. And then now it sounds like we've got Tanahashi and MJF, if MJF shows up.
Oh, dude.
And then Sonata. Can we, in wrestling, if we're going to say we're going to do an open challenge, can we just not announce who it is? Like, even if it's not someone, coming in, debuting, even if it's someone already on the roster, I just don't want to know until the match happens.
It's not an open challenge
of the open challenge.
Well, I mean, hey, look, you're going to get your open challenge TNT title match on Saturday night. which has already been filled as well. So
right, exactly.
like, yeah,
And like Jungle Boy, like I think he's turning heel soon.
who cares? I still don't have a reason to care about Jungle Boy. I don't. And you know what? Here's the thing. Him and Sonata are going to have a really, really good match. Like a really, really good match, right? But it's going to be two black holes of charisma in the ring together. And then after it's over, you're going to go, oh, that was good, and not think about it again.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I think that's it. That's announced so far. Oh no, Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. for the international title.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Which, like, let's be clear, I'm not calling this that it's going to be the match of the night, but there's a possibility that match could steal the show in the sense of like that was way better than I thought it was going to be, and it had no business being that good.
Yeah. Yeah. In case you have doubts about that, go back and watch Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay from last year's Forbidden Door, because that match humped.
Dude, Orange Cassidy, this run with the international title has cemented him as like one of the 5 or 6 best acts in the entire company for me.
It cemented him, and it's also cemented that title as the number 2 title in the company.
Right. Absolutely. It's the workhorse title. Like, bottom line. I've seen it before, and I agree with the theory that like if Orange Cassidy were 10 years younger, he'd be one of the pillars. It just he's at the age where they can't build a company around him for the next 15 years, which sucks because
I mean,
he's incredible.
With his style most of the time though, you probably could. Like, it's not like he's like super high risk all the time where you got to worry about him. Like
but he's been taking
he can do
he's
that.
Been taking bumps for 15 years.
Well, sure.
Like even if you're not taking high risk bumps, still bumping night in,
true,
or 3 nights a week, like your body just can't.
Yeah, you're right. You probably can't build with him for the next 15 years.
Of course, I'm right.
But he can definitely be. I mean, he can be the next. I don't know if he'll be necessarily on this level, but he'll be there. Jericho or whatever at when that time comes. Because I mean, he can come out and do the kicks and stuff until he's 70. Like
right.
So, but yeah, so I'm excited for that. I think that's it, right?
I haven't seen anything else.
Okay.
There was a rumor about a match that apparently isn't going to happen now.
Well, yeah. You want to talk about him now?
I mean, don't I always? But it's up to you. Like, I don't have to. But no, to answer your question about Forbidden Door, I haven't seen anything else, and I don't know like how much more they can load onto the show. You can probably fit 3 or 4 more matches on there, but
it's Tony.
That's about it.
It's Tony, so I'm sure he'll add at least 5 more.
Right. Well, I know it's New Japan and AEW, but like there hasn't been any talk of any Impact people that I've seen, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, no, Impact and New Japan have their own show. Together. Shout out to the Motor City Machine Guns, by the way. The reigning X Division and Impact World Champion.
Yeah.
In that tag.
Yeah, how we get to have on that show.
Wouldn't
it be awesome if you could do the Young Bucks versus Motor City Machine Guns?
Would be. Or
be kind of cool.
Triple threat with FTR.
Well, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
My thought was actually the Hardy Boys, but I'm not going to advocate for Jeff Hardy to be anywhere on a pay-per-view ever again. So
excited for that Guns versus Hardys match next week.
Hey, good for them.
Yeah. All right. So we're few days away, couple days away now, 2 days away from the debut episode of Collision. We have our main event, CMFTR versus Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold. The Bang Bang Gang.
The Bang Bang Gang.
I'm sorry. I love Jay White and Juice Robinson.
Juice Robinson especially has grown on me since I've seen him in the last few weeks. The screaming like a maniac is really working for me. Still hate Jay White with a passion.
That's
like this whole thing on Saturday night is going to be a lose-lose for me. Like, I just don't think it's going to go the way I want it to, and I'm just going to be disappointed.
So not only that, sounds like he's also going to get a live microphone at some point in the evening. Maybe we'll see. See what comes of this ESPN interview. Everyone's got their panties
worried about. Yeah.
Which, after careful consideration, I think is all ado about nothing. Because I think anything said in there incendiary is at this point a work. Considering he's got reportedly has non-disparagement clauses in his deal now. So,
sure, he's not allowed to, because that's going to work in professional wrestling. You're not allowed to say anything bad about the people. Omega, after the show last night, did a promo to the crowd where he's like, "You want to see us fight the guys you hate, or the guys that you guys hate us, and you want to see us fight your heroes? Keep watching, stay tuned." Like, it's their own. Like, at this point, if it's not a work, you and I had talked about this months ago. I don't even know if we'd been doing the pod yet, but like, at this point, if it's not a work, then you're going to get into the territory of like upsetting fans beyond just like, "Oh man, did you hear what happened?" Like, if the fans can't trust what's happening week in and week out on the TV show, you're going to run into that WCW problem in the late 99, 2000 with Russo, where it's like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't have the energy. Exactly. Like, if he comes out on there on Saturday night and drops a pipe bomb, and then all the talk for the next week is about how he went off script and blah, 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 I don't have the energy for it. Like, I'm not going to have the energy to get excited about it. And I think that's why you're not seeing a ton of increase in ticket sales for his return, because I don't think fans have the energy to deal with more drama and bullshit coming from CM Punk.
Right. It's not even specific. Like, it's not even like, it was just contained to what he says. That'd be one thing. But it's everything around what he says that gets like just exploded upon online with.
I'm glad you made that point, because I don't want it to sound like he's the one causing the drama. Anything he does gets a reaction, an extreme reaction from both sides.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, unfortunately, because he is who he is, and because he is as big of a star as he is, that's just the game. I have said a lot of things about Mr. Phil CM Punk Brooks. I've never once said he wasn't a draw or a big star.
All right.
I just don't like him.
Fair enough.
Mainly because he likes a shitty hockey team.
Yeah, but did you see the shirt he was rocking in the promo video last night?
Yeah, but was that a Red Wings Probert shirt, or was that a Blackhawks Probert
Does it
shirt?
matter?
Yes,
Come on. Does it matter? No,
yes,
it doesn't. He protected our captain for years. They didn't want him around anymore.
Yeah, and then his job was to go try and kill our captain after that.
But did he actually do it? No. He never took a run at Stevie, but
that's fine. I'm just saying. A Bob Probert shirt does not offset the Patrick Waugh shirt. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Okay.
As far as the match goes,
Right?
though,
Yeah, the match.
like
There's a match on Saturday.
I'm not super excited for like to see him back in the ring. I'm excited to see if they're going to have him pair off with Samoa Joe or if it's going to be someone else that he splits off with for his first program. Fingers crossed. I hope it's Samoa Joe. I got a feeling it's going to be something else.
Oh, okay. So you mean? I thought you meant like whether there was ever going to be a point in the match where him and Samoa Joe was in the ring. I'm like, well, there better be, because otherwise, why pick Samoa Joe? Like,
yeah, right.
You could have picked anyone, but yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if his first program was with Samoa Joe. But
I think it's the safest option too, in the sense of like, there's already the history. They can tell the story. Fans like myself who've wanted to see it for a long time get that part of them satiated. I don't think either one of them are the worker they were. Well, it's not even a think. We know neither one of them are the workers they were 20 years ago, 18 years ago when they first ran this match. Mm-hmm. But they're both really good on the mic still.
Yes. Yeah.
And Samoa Joe can say things to CM Punk that no one else in the locker room can say, and vice versa. And I think that's where the money's going to be if they let these guys go at it. If they try to bring
clear everything first, better make sure you clear every single word first.
Sure. I worry if they try to bring Punk back and make it about the in-ring work, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah,
he's gotten hurt a lot in the before he left for his sabbatical.
Just don't put him in world title matches. He didn't get hurt until he got put in world title matches.
Fair enough.
Again,
I'm fine if he never goes in the world title. But
I get why you wanted to do it. I get it, but I think we've tried it twice, and both times he got hurt immediately. Like, I think that ship has sailed.
Sure. And the other thing I'm worried about FTR getting overshadowed by his return, because they're the world tag team champions, and all anyone's talking about is like, their team, like they haven't done anything of real significance since the pay-per-view. Like they chased off the Bang Bang Gang, mm-hmm. and this was supposed to be kind of like their reset. And it feels a little slow to me.
See, I think, and that's why I kind of think Joe will be Punk's first program, because I think this is also continuing the story between FTR and Jay and Juice, but we'll see. Maybe not. I just had an idea, a thought. I hope they do. They probably won't, though. I want them to come out in Heart Foundation style leather jackets.
I would not be surprised at all. And then my dumbass would be like, ProWrestlingTees.com, take my money.
Take my money. Get me the jacket in 3 to 6 months.
Do you think there's a possibility they debut a finisher that's like a heart attack, a 3-man heart attack with like, I don't know how you do it though.
You have each FTR guy grab a leg and lift the dude up, and then CM Punk does his springboard clothesline.
Boom. There it is. I feel like it has to have,
I'm for it.
Like Hangman talked about it, about his match with Punk not being a masturbatory Bret Hart match. I hope Saturday night is those three pulling every move they can out of the Hart Foundation playbook. Every single one of them. I want the slingshot shoulder block. I want it all.
Lots of side Russian leg sweeps and backbreakers and middle rope elbows.
It's the elbow drop from the second turnbuckle on the inside is how Monsoon used to call it.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Sure. Should be fun.
We'll see. Aside from that match, it's interesting to me too that like Miro's returning, right? And they're like, oh, Miro's in action. Like you don't have anything bigger for Miro coming back.
Right.
Like Andrade feuding with Buddy or having a match with Buddy Matthews. Like on paper, it should be phenomenal. But when Andrade left, he was a heel. House of Black are still heels.
I think House of Black have transcended that heel face thing. They're just cool. Like
I don't agree. I feel like they were definitely the heels against the Elite. I feel like they were the heels against Death Triangle.
They are. Like, they're definitely heels. But, I mean, as far as, like, crowd reaction goes, like, I don't think the crowd really... They'll boo them. They're like they're a spookier version of what UE was in NXT. Like, everyone was in on the Undisputed Era entrance and the boom and all that Adam Cole baby. But then once the bell rang, they were heels. I think that's pretty much the same thing with House of Black.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, once the bell rings in that match, if those two tear it down like they should, no one's going to care who's the heel and who's the baby face anyway.
Right.
So,
right.
I was excited to see that match. I loved the immediate like, oh, Charlotte versus Rhea. Like, can we get that mixed tag at Forbidden Door?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. That's funny. I didn't even think about that when I saw the announcement. Actually,
yeah, I saw the match and I was like, oh man, that should be good. Like an hour later, I was on Twitter and I saw that. I was like, why didn't I think of that? That's incredible.
Right. I was so distracted with, wow, I can't wait to see that match. That's going to be awesome.
Right.
You want to do our bit now, seeing as we're talking about them?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. What are we setting the over-under at for how long CM Punk lasts on this AEW run?
It is June 15th.
It is.
Revolution is usually the second week of February, right? Or is it the first week of February?
Actually, it's been like the first week of March last couple years. Because it was like the very end of February. Because the first one was
fair enough.
Actually on Leap Day, I believe.
Maybe.
So, yeah, it was the last week of February, and then the last couple years has been the first week or so of March.
If he makes it to Revolution, I would consider that as a successful run.
Yeah.
Like, if he makes it that far, that's almost 9 months. I think that's fingers crossed if you can get 9 months without problems. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean just from him. I just mean in general. Mm-hmm. Someone gets upset at something he says, or he takes offense to somebody, or there's a, God forbid, another injury or something.
Right.
Like, if they can get through this, I don't even know if he's going to be on Forbidden Door, probably in like a small capacity. But if they can get through 4 or 5 pay-per-view, all out, all in, full gear Revolution, that's great.
I'm gonna go.
So I'll set it at 9 months, just as Revolution, as a 9-month cutoff.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go past that. Actually, I'm gonna go to Double or Nothing. He'll get about another year in, I think. And then something will happen. I don't know. They won't have the right muffins or something, and he'll be upset. Yeah, I'll go with Double or Nothing, 2024.
Okay, so then my over, I'm gonna say under 10 months. Then is my.
There you go.
Is where I'm at. Under 10 months. Okay. I don't think he makes it past Revolution without some sort of something.
Right.
Or he misses significant time. He could and that could be an injury. You know,
right. Yeah, I mean I won't. I mean, that's just, you know, that kind of thing just happens though. I'm not gonna.
Well, if that sort of thing just kind of happens, then like, I don't know. man, every time I start thinking about this guy, I just get all fired up and like the conversation around him. Like, I think you and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. He's like, what has that guy ever actually done to make people say he's just this giant douche that you can't work with? What has he ever actually done that he did to start the problem that has ever gotten out that people like? Because I've never heard of him like going to the promoter and being like, you got to bury this dude or I'm not. All these rumors come out about it, but then the promoter, no, that never happened. No, that didn't happen. No, he wasn't a problem at all about that. Like, he's hard. He'll tell you when he doesn't like something, but like, is that what it is? If he doesn't like something, he's not afraid to back. Like, I just don't get this whole he's a cancer and he can't be worked with. He was never like the stuff in WWE when he left. That had nothing to do with the boys. That had to do with Vince lying to him over and over again about stuff. That's not the boys. That's someone standing up to your boss. Your boss tells you, "Oh, I need you to do this favor for me, and I'm going to take care of you." And you're like, "All right, I got it, dude. I'll work late, no problem." He's like, "Look, man, I really need you to pick up someone else's gig because we got to move them." "Yep, I got you, no problem. I'm going to get that time off in a few weeks, though, right?" Yeah, not a big deal. You do this for me, I'll get you all the time off you need, you know? All right, I need that time off. Eat shit. I need you to go to Mexico and wrestle for 6 weeks. Like, oh, like, is that him being difficult to work with, or is that him standing up for himself? Like, him being difficult to work with in AEW all stemmed from that group of guys not liking their spot getting taken. Bottom line, I can't wait to hear what he says in this
Allegedly,
interview.
though. See, this is my problem with him, though. He's a massive hypocrite. Because his thing was he didn't like it that somebody went to the dirt sheets and, put 2 and 2 together wrongly that Punk's here and Colt isn't. And since they have beef, that must mean because of who Punk is, So then he turns around, and because he knows that the Elite are friendly with Dave Meltzer, even though he's got no proof, he's going to shoot his mouth off and just assume that the Elite told Dave Meltzer. Like, he does the exact same thing everyone else does to him.
But did he do it the very next week, or was it several months after the fact when all of the people
That's what
involved
made it worse. Like, I would actually, if he would have went on his rant at Double or Nothing, like, I probably would be more on his side. But the fact he waited, and he got hurt, so that had something to do with it. So I'm sure he had to sit at home for 2 months or whatever. I can't even remember what the 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
He had to sit at home and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But I just mean, like, the promo with Hangman that he took such offense to happened in the lead up for Double or Nothing. If you're going to say something then.
He did. He said it on national TV. He said the apology needs to be as loud as the insult.
No, that was when he came back from injury.
Well, because he got hurt the night he won the title from Hangman, got hurt the next night.
That's what I'm saying. Go off at the Double or Nothing presser.
But he's true. At that point, this is an assumption. Maybe we'll get the real story. At that point, he's probably thinking, we're going to let this go. We're going to move past this. And then it, as you mentioned, he was gone for a few months. And during that time is when the story really started to fester about Cabana. And all that time, all those guys had plenty of opportunity. Tony Khan's on Busted Open every week. Tony Khan is doing interviews with ESPN. He had all this time to be like, that's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. And then Punk comes back in September and has to hear all this nonsense about how he doesn't want to work with Moxley and he just wants the title back and blah, 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 blah. People talking about him again. And his boss doesn't stand up for him publicly. So he stands up for himself. And I agree that he went about it in way too aggressive of a fashion, but he stood up for himself and everyone's like, he's a cancer and he can't be trusted. He's not the one that went and leaked shit to the dirt sheets. He's not the one that started the whole, he stands up for himself and then people are like, he's a problem. he's got to go. That's bullshit. You poke somebody over and over again. A lot of people back down. He didn't back down, and his boss sat there. You saw his boss sit there like a deer in headlights. He does it. He does it at every press conference when MJF starts going off on his stuff. You can tell he doesn't like what's being said, but he doesn't say like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! I'm in charge here." That's what it comes down to. Like, he stood up for himself after months of getting shit talked about him, and no one wants to help him out. Like, I don't see how that makes somebody a cancer. Because you hear like, how many people in that company have come out and said, since all this happened, rightfully so, he got in trouble for what he did, but in the time he was there, they're like, he was so helpful. He did so much to help a lot of young people around here. Jamie Hayter just had a story out, an interview get published today. Britt Baker talked about how instrumental he was to really helping her that's what made it worse for her, is that someone she liked and was appreciative of having there hurt the company that she cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbs and Starks and FTR and all these people are like, he's great to work with. But there was one group of people that didn't like it, and they also happened to be the executives that also were leaking the stories about it.
But how do you know that, though? That's my thing. Like, how do you know that that's what was the motivation? Okay. How do you know they're the ones that leaked it?
Okay. We don't know. Let's take that they leaked it off the table. Their names were still being connected to it, and none of them came out and were like, it's not true. None of them. They'll come out and deny all the other bullshit that gets spread about them, but they wouldn't deny that.
Were they ever asked?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know, Chris. I don't know. I don't read every
They're not super active on social media anymore.
Okay. Fine. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Well, I don't think Omega had much to do with it, because it sounds like he was trying to be a peacemaker in all of it. So the Young Bucks and Hangman aren't leaking anything, and they haven't said it. It still doesn't change the fact that the owner of the company didn't do anything about it either.
I agree with 100%. I agree with you 100% on that one. So, yeah.
Man, whatever.
So,
I hope he walks out on Saturday and the Chicago fans turn on him. That'd be the best thing for everybody.
I don't know if it'd be the best thing for everybody, but I think that was pretty much it. Oh, there was this. I don't know if I want to talk about this now. It's been a week. What do you think? What do you think about the new titles in WWE?
Whatever. 3 years ago, I'd have got fired up about it. I just don't care anymore. They'll have another new title in 2 years. Whatever.
So the design is still not my favorite design, but I think it looks 100 times better with the gold background on the faceplate as opposed to just the color of the leather. So that was my main takeaway from it. So it looks more like a title belt now as opposed to just
I don't think any of them look like championships. They just look like giant branding props. Like, that doesn't scream world champion. It just doesn't. It just says, I wrestle for WWE.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I think that was the only leftover thing from last week I was going to talk about. But is there anything else from this week or last week or anything else on your mind?
No, nothing that's coming to mind. Oh, we didn't talk about the no, we did. It was 2 weeks ago when we talked about the bloodline separation.
Yeah. That's progressing. I watched pretty much all of SmackDown on Friday. It was a pretty decent show, and I'm interested to see what happens next. I guess
sure.
Roman's back this week. Jay's got a decision to make. We'll see what he decides. So,
I saw some clips where they're sowing the seeds of a Judgment Day breakup, which is interesting.
That's dumb. That's dumb.
I agree, but that's never stopped him before.
True. Are you gonna go meet the New Day on Sunday?
Oh, at Ford Field.
Yeah.
I will not be spending my Father's Day at Ford Field for the Michigan Panthers.
If it was any other Sunday, I probably would go.
Well, if the Michigan Panthers, well, never mind. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Never mind.
No, seriously, I saw that. I'm like, oh man, like, and especially because it was like $15 or whatever. I'm like,
oh yeah, it's dirt cheap.
yeah. I'm like, yeah.
They're giving out like WWE terrible towels,
Yeah.
and they're going to be like hanging around on the concourse, like doing meet and greets with fans. There's not going to be a ton of people there.
I know.
So
that's
like,
what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, I was like, I want to do that, and I'm like, what day is this? And I'm like, oh, it's Father's Day. Yeah, probably not gonna do that.
I mean, if you were ever going to do it, that's the perfect. Hey, it's Father's Day. That's what I want to do.
I know, but we got both sets of parents coming over for dinner, so big old.
So what? Again, it's Father's Day. They're on your time, sir.
All right. WrestleCon.
I understand there were fathers involved in that.
Yes.
That was going to be the thing I was going to bring out. WrestleCon has announced the first 2 guests.
Oh, I didn't see the second one. Who's the second one?
The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Honky Tonk Man?
He got long sideburns and his hair slicked back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And it is at the old Kobo.
It is at the Huntington place.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to have to write that out.
Like,
it's good. Every time I have to write August 5th, 4th and 5th from Huntington Place, it's going to tear a little piece of my soul out.
I understand why the name change happened. It will always be Kobo to me. Sorry.
Right. You want to go see Def Leppard at Pine Knob?
Yeah, actually, I would go see Def Leppard at Pine Knob.
I'm just saying because like it was always Pine Knob.
Oh yeah.
I was never going to call it DTE Energy Music Amphitheater Garden Pavilion.
Yeah. Well, they had the good sense to change it back finally.
Finally, yeah.
But there was no one named Pine or Knob who was a terrible racist either. So.
Oh, that's true too.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there have been people
sure is, yeah.
named Pine and Knob both that have been horrible racists, but none of them were involved in the naming of said concert venue.
That we know of. Yeah. Yeah, I was expecting a little more about the WrestleCon stuff by now, but it feels like they're just going to be constantly
it's
updating it.
We're now within 2 months, so now we'll probably every couple days there'll be a new announcement. So
yep.
And
I'll be following up with them.
Yeah, I might end up going and checking WrestleCon out at least, even if I don't go to SummerSlam. So right,
it's on my bucket list of the night before SummerSlam of getting in there and doing I'm hoping to do a story, but even if I can't do a story, I'm probably gonna go check it out because when is something like that gonna be around? They
usually have a big show, like they usually have like a show attached to it, right?
Well, yeah, and I'm wondering, like lately when WrestleCon has gone to an area, some of these other companies have been like, "Oh, we're coming to Detroit too." Like I would expect GCW is gonna do something big that weekend. I would expect if Progress comes over again and does a show, they might try to set something up in the area. Like it would make sense that some of the bigger indies would come to town because you're already going to have your audience in place, right? And what else is there? Like I love Detroit, but it's not like there's a ton of stuff going on downtown that wrestling fans are going to be like drawn to, right? Like they're not going, well, maybe they're going to go to Madonna, but I don't think so.
Maybe. Yeah, should be. Yeah, I don't think I'll make the trip out to Harpo's to see GCW, but
what are you trying to say?
I'm, just saying I don't think I'll make the trip to Harpo's.
Got something bad to say about Harpo, sir?
I've just not heard very nice things.
Probably from me.
Probably from you. Yeah. So, all right. Let's get out of here, Matt.
Sounds good.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at IBNSChris. You can follow the show at KM Wrestling Pod. You can find the YouTube channel easily at musicandmoonsalts.com, where you can like and, like I said, subscribe and leave a comment on the video, and tell your friends to check out Kris and Matt's Wrestling Pod most every Friday.
Can I plug something?
Sure, go ahead. You got a new story?
I do. I have it'll be out next week. I did an interview with Excalibur last week.
Oh, nice.
Got to chat him up for about 20 minutes. Yeah, talked about his time growing up in Detroit, what led him out to California, and how he got started with PWG, and just his a little bit about his journey as an announcer, and what it's like working with Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone and Taz, and his excitement about Forbidden Door as well. So that'll be out sometime next week. I did the interview last week, but I was holding off to closer to the big show just to get that last minute buzz. So yeah, that'll be out sometime next week on MLive.com. I'll tweet out the link as well at MDURR84.
Very nice. You should try and listen to me telling you how to do your job. You should try and interview the Machine Guns now that they're both champions. One of them's the world champion.
Maybe I've already reached out about that.
Sweet. All right. Maybe.
And I've already interviewed him twice before. So
right. So it's not like you're some fly-by-night reporter.
Oh, I'm sorry. We completely rest in peace, the Iron Sheik. Oh my God.
Yes.
Sheiky baby.
Sheiky baby. Breaking people's backs in the afterworld, making them humble.
I hope he's humbling a whole bunch of people out there.
A bunch of jabronis.
J Browns, yep.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I was gonna say you're not. I thought you were gonna call me a jabroni, and then it made me think of the Sheik. So.
No, yeah. So yes. Rest in peace, Sheiky baby. Twitter won't be the same.
I got nothing else.
Okay. Well,
just to end it.
Okay. Until next week. See ya.